Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Guys, welcome back to the show for the people that understand that facts divided by feelings equals failure. I'm Cliff, I'm your host, and as you can see, if you're watching, I'm joined by another special guest, but we'll get to him right after. Yes, you know the drill. If you want to help me get this word out, get these truths out, you can follow me on Instagram at Savagely Loud. That is where I'm most active. On that page, you'll find two links. One of those links is the Savagely Loud podcast page, what I would ask you to please follow me there too, because it will inevitably be my backup page. And also the other link you're going to find is a link tree to all my social media, all the videos, all that stuff. Anywhere you want to watch, listen, or whatever, you can hit it there. Find it there. Outside of that, Facebook, X, and Rumble at Savagely Loud, YouTube at Savagely Loud Podcast, and you can email me in at savagelyloud@gmail.com. Last but not least, it's been a long day. Last but not least, don't forget to like, comment, and share the material, guys. We got to get these words out, and we can't get these words out. We can't get these truths out. We can't get these conversations started without your help. And your help comes through the way of like, comment, and share. Rate the show, please, guys. Rate the show. Apple, iTunes, Spotify. Leave a good review. You know, do all the bell stuff, the ringer stuff, the follow stuff. We got it, okay? So let's get to the man on the screen. If you're watching, you will notice, you will recognize this man because he is a young man making waves all over the internet. Every time I fucking fire up social media, who do I see? What is it? TJXShippuden? Is that what I'm getting?
Yes, sir.
TJXShippuden. How are we doing today, brother?
I am doing very, very well. Really appreciate it.
Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? All your sites, wherever you want to plug, go ahead and do it now.
So I am on Instagram. That's where I started. I've been banned on TikTok 9 times, but apparently the Jews like me over there a little bit, so they're not banning all my shit since they bought it. I'm also on. I'm also on YouTube. Been on YouTube for about 3 years now, doing a lot of gaming content. And then I was like, the world sucks ass, so I kind of shifted it to be a lot more reactionary commentary content. I'm gonna get back to the gaming eventually, but I'm just on a bit of a wave right now. And then I also live stream on Twitch and Kick, and I'm on Facebook as well.
And all those are under TJXShippuden?
Yes. All.
How do you spell that for people?
TJXShippuden.
All right, cool. Anything else? Anywhere else you got?
I'm on X as well.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Yeah.
I can't find any traction there. I can't get shit, but you know.
Me neither. It's bro, my videos get like 60 views in 4 days. What the hell?
I started like you, man. Like I started out different content, right? Mine was all personal development content, all positive. You can do it, but more of a like the blunt, abrasive, Fonzie type in your face shit. Like, you know, you got to get the shit done, you know, kind of stuff like that.
Right.
And it was okay. It did okay, but I couldn't get traction any fucking where. And then finally, January 10th of this year, like I sat at 2,000 followers, 1,970 followers for like 2 years on Instagram.
Damn.
Finally, January 10th, I was like, attention, black people, I got some shit to say. And next thing you know, I just rolled 83,000 on Facebook, 36 or 37,000 on Instagram, and I just now broke 100, not 100,000, 100 on fucking X.
I still have it.
Shit.
So nice. Oh yeah, I'm at like 84 or something like that.
So you said you had mentioned just a second ago that you shifted your content from gaming to more of a life-based commentary, and that's how I found you. Is you got kind of shoveled into my algorithm, and I was like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? He's a young dude, and the first time I saw you, like my phone was on silent because I was doing some other shit. And I saw those glasses come up and I saw the hair coming out and I was like, oh, what's this fucking guy got to say? so I walked out of the room and I turned on the sound and I was like, this fucking guy's making a lot of sense. He's making a lot of sense. Holy shit, I'm on team this guy. Who the fuck is this guy?
Appreciate it, bro.
So, like, what was it about the world that really sparked you to be like, you know what? I've been making this shit. This content is awesome. I love this content, but you know what? The world needs to hear this content. So, what was there a particular trigger or a particular event that got you to shift your content around?
Man. So I started getting tangentially interested and involved in talking about politics and just the retardation of the world. Probably like my senior year of high school, because I was class of 2020. I'm 23, and I am growing out of this class, and all of a sudden my teachers are like, oh my gosh, that's racist. Oh no, you can't make commentary on gay people. Retarded is offensive somehow. And I'm thinking to myself, me and all my classmates and all my teammates, we all joke about this stuff and none of it is offensive. Nobody cares. And until you start focusing on it, what really pissed me off was the senior year of high school. I went to high school in Rockland, California. It is a very predominantly white area. And what they chose to do was make a black student union for all of these ungrateful, loud coons that went to my damn school. And it pissed me off so bad. I'm like, what point does it end? Why do they need a black student union? Because I went to two of them. It took 2 meetings of the black student union for it to devolve into hating white people. And I have a white dad. I have white friends. Like 70% of my football teammates are white. And yeah, I've encountered racism. I've dealt with racist kids, but you can't make a couple bad experiences you go through with certain people or a certain demographic of people and just paint it for everybody. It's ridiculous, especially when white people have been globally probably the most docile and inviting demographic on the face of the planet. It was ridiculous. It is. And people don't want to accept that. And everybody wants to pretend like race is just the end all be all, as if there's not so much more that comes into being a person or coming from a culture, and just the absolute disrespect and the deprioritization of preserving any sort of white culture. And I just started seeing that, and I'm like, if this continues, this is going to cascade into something crazy. So I get out of high school, didn't know what the hell I wanted to do with my life, worked at a whole bunch of different jobs, moved to Oregon for a job I no longer have, and started taking my YouTube really seriously. So it was fun. I had a couple videos do really well, but it wasn't going anywhere. And I was like, you know what? I have so many other opinions. There's so much other things I could talk about that could genuinely impact somebody's life than me being pissed off at not being able to beat this boss in God of War. So I was like, you know what? Let me do something else. I love the gym. I'm a power lifter, been in sports all my life. So I was like, maybe I could impact people through fitness content. That was worse than the gaming. Nobody gave a damn, which was nuts, because I'm like, I feel like I'm a pretty strong person. I've been powerlifting for years. I compete. I was in nationals. Nobody gave a shit at all. So I was like, okay. And ironically enough, the first video I posted that did well on Instagram was I was sitting in one of my bar stools in the kitchen, and I saw a video of this black girl saying that, like, how dare white people act like black people didn't build this country, blah, 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 when it was built off the back of slave labor. And I've debunked this in personal one-on-one conversations so many times. And I'm like, how much of an ego do you have to think that because your own people sold you to white people and exploited you for labor, it's not their fault? They weren't, like, where'd they get the inventory from? You know what I mean? Slavery was just a thing that happened. Everybody's been enslaved. So to have the ego to think that you actually had a hand in the development of this country that was built by white Christian men, how about just stop attaching yourself to history that you didn't experience and just live your life and be a normal person? Just do that. So I think the post I made, that was the first one I ever posted that went viral, was black people. It was something akin to black people think that America was built by them. Meanwhile, they enslaved themselves and can't even develop Africa. It was something like that. People got pissed. And I was like going back in comments before. I had never had a post it. I had never had a viral video before. So it was like 50,000 views in 4 hours. Like, what the hell is going on? What is this? Is insane. And people got so mad and so angry. I'm fine with following rules and I don't have an issue with being told what to do or what I should do. When you start telling me what I can't do, that's what really pisses me off.
Yeah.
And when people started telling me that I was a sellout coon Uncle Tom because I was acknowledging the reality in the demographic that I hail from, I was like, "Oh, really? That pisses you off? I'm going to triple down. I'm going to triple down." And then the more and more I kept doing it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start talking about everything else. I'm gonna start talking about Jesus. I'm gonna start talking about gay people being annoying. Or what else? I'm gonna start talking about stupid ass Democrats and liberals not knowing how the world works. Like, oh my gosh, we need to remove voting rights from certain demographics of people. Women, we should start with them because we started with letting them vote, and then that's how everything turned to shit in the first place. So
Be quiet with all this reality. Oh my gosh.
So it was like, you know what? I'm just gonna say it because who's gonna stop me? Nobody.
That's that's you know what I have found, because I did basically the same shit. Like, I was just like, I've been done with this bullshit my whole life. I've never hidden the fact that I used to be a fucking neo-Nazi. I came from that life, so I got the blessing of seeing things from the other side, and now I live this life where I try to I use that shock value to get the conversation started. And my emails blow up every single fucking day with black dudes, usually starting out like, "Go fuck yourself, you white piece of shit." And then they end up in a real conversation. I'm like, give yourself some. I had one just the other day. The guy was like, he started out with, "You're a whore." And then we had like, yeah. Yeah. But then we had like this fucking, I don't know, 20 email exchange. And it ended up with me saying, "You know what, dude?" I was like, because I said something about, I was like, it's okay. When two alphas lock horns, you're going to get some words thrown around. It's all right. Let's bring this back down and start the conversation,
Right.
And he's like, "Well, I really don't consider myself an alpha." And he had given me some information. He's a black man, from the city. And, he's like, "I really don't consider myself an alpha." I'm like, "You're a black man in Baltimore," I believe is where he was, "and you're raising your children alone." Like, that's shattering stereotype after stereotype after stereotype in your community.
Exactly.
Of course you're a fucking alpha. Give yourself some credit. And we had it started one place and ended in another. And I get that every single fucking day, because here's my thing. I like my fucking my white brethren, my white culture, my white history. But that doesn't mean I don't like anybody else's. And it doesn't mean that everybody else's has to not exist for mine to shine. My biggest argument now is, you can shine a light on yours, but don't get fucking mad when I shine a light on mine. And especially don't get mad when I'm better at certain shit than you are. I don't get mad when you're better at certain shit. I mean, like, dude, how many fucking white guys are in fucking sports anymore? It's because black people have that shit dominated.
Yeah.
The Dominicans are dominating fucking baseball. Like, that's the great American all white baseball fucking pastime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad. I want to see the best damn game that I can see. And if Joey Schmo down the road can't deliver the fucking performance, then give me somebody that can. But that's how it happens. Is like, and I think it has a lot to do with your content is, you shock people, you get people, because we're so programmed to not appreciate the nuance of reality. We're so programmed to not even that, it's to completely turn our back on reality and just shun everything that we've been told since we were children to not talk about. But once we start talking about it, shit gets fixed. And you fix a lot of shit, because I'm in your comment section a fair bit looking at motherfuckers. And a lot of that shit shifts, and it's not always a shift between you and the follower. a lot of the shit's the same way as me. Like, I put my content out there, and then people in the comments go at each other's throats, and then they start coming to different conclusions, and then all of a sudden they're starting to, well, I like dogs too. Like, I literally saw that yesterday. Like, well, I like dogs too. I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? I mean, great, I'm glad it did, but shit, I like dogs too popped out of nowhere, you know?
Oh
so
my gosh.
it's one of those things where you have to like, people always want you to put it gently, but when you put it gently, it falls on deaf ears. Nobody listens. But when you kick them in the fucking dick with the information, they have to acknowledge it. And that's what starts the train of thought.
People want to pretend like you have to walk on eggshells to communicate with people. And the way this is the way I operate in all fields of my life. I don't have an ego. I'm not trying to get things out of people. I want to achieve my goals as efficiently as I possibly can. I don't care how many people that I don't like that I have to work with. What is the most efficient way to just get to the goal? The goal that I want is for the average American to not be a retard. That's the only goal that I have. And I'm seeing way too many retards, because when there's too many retards, what's going to happen when I decide to start having children? What's going, like, is the more progressive that society gets, it is in practice the most regressive shit ever. Yeah. And people don't realize that. How do you remove Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben from pancake syrup and rice because of racism, and then you keep the Quaker Oats guy and the
take the Indian off the butter, off the Land O'Lakes?
Like, what are we doing? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. And what bothers me about white liberals, because from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, neo-Nazi is essentially that's like white supremacy, right?
Yeah. That's, yeah, it was everybody, fuck everybody, especially the Jews and black people. And because, well, here's the thing, because, okay, so this is what the modern neo is we weren't just focused on the Jews. The Jews were number one because they create the top-down problem in that world, okay? I'm not saying they do. They actually do. But I'm not saying they do. But they create these top-down problems. But usually what the skinheads would focus on is the biggest problems in the streets, the biggest problem for the people of that country. So that's why you would see most American skinheads were focused on black people and Mexicans, because they just stream across the border all over the fucking place. You go to Australia and it was Vietnamese. You go to Western Europe and it's Koreans. They typically focus on the problem in the communities, and that's why you'll see different focal factors. But in the end of it, we don't like anybody. Like, I woke up every single day with a seething hatred for everybody that didn't match my skin tone, and I wanted everybody to fucking die. And
that's crazy.
And that, yeah, I want, like, my whole fucking goal, and everybody in the movement's goal, was to figure out how to wipe these motherfuckers out so that we could stop all the fucking problems. The reality behind it is you can't do that, especially in modern day, in modern day reality. We have to be more practical than this. And when you come down from that certain cloud of hatred and you start looking around, you start noticing there's certain players in the game that come from your own. There's certain players in the game that are selling you out, and you're promoting them. So it starts putting a bad taste in your mouth, and then you start deep diving into who's selling who out, and what country is doing what with what other country, and then you find out it's a giant cabal of elites. Well, then you start getting to understand, okay, color has nothing to do with oppression. Mm-hmm. Money and power have things to do with oppression. So then you start looking at, well, who's my enemy now? It's the oppressors. It's the people that are oppressing me. It's the people that have convinced me to hate every single other person on the planet in nothing more than a method to keep us divided so that they could keep their control structure. So now I'm your enemy. And now I'm kind of, and you have to, if you're an honest person and you have any sort of self-awareness at all, any sort of intellect, you have to then reassess everything you thought. Every single thing you thought about every other culture or person, you have to sit down and reassess, where are the goals? Do I wake up in the morning really not wanting black people to eat? Not really. Do I really wake up in the morning wanting, white people to completely rule the fucking earth? Well, I don't know, because we've fucked up a lot of shit too, especially in modern politics. So where is it? Where's this happy medium that we can, these people that I was supposed to hate, where can we find that common ground at? Well, it's our hatred for the elites. It's our hatred for the oppressors. And it's our knowledge that it's their game that's keeping us apart. Now, that's not to say it's only their game. There are behavioral characteristics in every demographic of people. And some of those demographic of people, like black people en masse, display abhorrent lacks of respect for society in its entirety. You have to address that. And in America, that is our biggest problem. The American problem isn't the Mexicans streaming across the border. It's a huge fucking problem. But I'll tell you this, I live in a primarily Mexican community, and the yards are mowed. There's flowers on the lawn. The cars are clean. The windows are washed. Everything's fucking beautiful in these neighborhoods. But when you get into the black neighborhoods, everything shifts. So we need to, if we as Americans are going to be as strong as our weakest link, we have to pick up the black community. It's just the way it is. It's just the reality of things. En masse, we have to pick up the black community standards of living. Get them to understand you are capable of more. You just got to drop this victim card, and then we can all kind of have this conversation and march forward together against the tyranny of our mutual enemy, which is the elite oppressors that try to keep us divided to keep their power structure. Does that make sense?
That does make a lot of sense. So were the enemies in your eyes black people and Jews because it was like, these people are the root of my problems, and that was like the previous mindset that you had?
So the way it worked is, the Jews are always the number one problem because they control the money, right? The Jews in London control the money, and what they do is they'll use these, we'll air quote this, shitty demographics of people with abhorrent behavior. They'll funnel those into areas to destroy them in a manner so that they can usher in this gentrification process, which means what they'll do is they'll build a building. Let's say, okay, I did an episode on inner city projects before, and then they'll build the building, spend the money, and get the black people in, and then that will give them government grants because they're Section 8 housing, so they're making more money now. And as the black people destroy these communities, which they always do, and this is part of their plan. This is why they did this. It's documented. As the black community would destroy the community, they could put less and less and less money into the maintenance of the buildings because they would cite that it's so dangerous. Now they're making more money. And then when it gets so bad, the city says, you guys got to fucking do something about this. And they go, well, what are you prepared to offer us to do something about that? So then the city or the state or both will come in. They'll pay them yet more money to tear the place down. And then they'll pay them more money to start a gentrification effort to usher in white people to make the area nicer again. And now they're even making more money because now some of the same buildings that they could leave, they're now making 10 times as much profit on. That apartment complex that they were making $400 a unit from Section 8 for 20, 30 years, now they're making $2,800 a unit, So it's just money, 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 and they use certain demographics of people as pawns in this chess game. So we focused on that part. So it was always the top-down problem, and then we focused on the bottom level of the problem. So it was always the Jews were at the top, and then the blacks were at the bottom. The Vietnamese were at the bottom. It depends on where you go, because immigrants are a problem in every single country across this globe. So it worked like that pretty much.
Okay, so I think what irks me so much about the black community is that they can't take a step back and, with all of the documented, litigious, historical, sequential evidence that they are being taken advantage of and used, they still think that the ones using them are helping them. And the reason why black people get into communities and they destroy them is because it's been decades and decades of not owning anything. And when you don't own anything, you don't value anything. When everything is handed to you, everything is given to you, you haven't earned anything, you have a lot less respect for it than if you had earned it in the first place, obviously.
Absolutely.
And it's like, and I try and I try and dialogue this with people so much. I'm like, you are a pawn. You are being used. And the conversation almost always devolves back into some low IQ, low level nonsense about, oh, I should be given government subsidies because my ancestors went through X. That's what they want you to think. And I'm like, just stop. Just stop being just stop. You're enslaving yourself. You're putting the chains on and then clipping it together.
Yep. It absolutely is. That's exactly what's happening. And I get in these conversations and they do. Just like you said, they tend to typically devolve into, just low rent name calling. You're a fucking piece of shit, white trash, motherfucker, this and that and the other thing, but no substance, no things there. And the conversations I try to get people to understand, and this is where I kind of thrive in my, especially in the emails, because I'm like, if you could just stop, get it all out, and I'll tell them, just get it all out. Whatever the fuck you want to say, get it all out, and then just stop for a second and just listen, okay? First and foremost, if we're not going to take this conversation any further to improve the culture that you live in, take this at face value. Everything you just said proved me right. Is that what you want to do? I come on the internet and I say black people are violent. And the first thing you do is email me about how you're going to shoot me in the fucking head. You're proving me right. So
It's
just
so
if you,
embarrassing.
yeah, so you just take a step back. Let's have a conversation. I like dogs too, we're both people. And then, but it always works out great when I can get them. And most of the time I can get black men, especially black men. Black women, they don't bite so much. They have a severe entitlement problem. But black men will typically, throughout the course of a conversation, kind of turn back around and understand, like, okay, you're right. Maybe you're right about some things, but I don't like the way you go about it. Exactly. But you have to not like the way I go about it, because if I go about it in a manner that you don't mind, this conversation doesn't happen.
Exactly.
And it doesn't happen 10,000 times from now to change all of these minds. You know what I mean?
What I had to do was remove emotionality, because I'm not super dark skinned. I don't speak in a ghetto way. So people didn't make a lot of the same assumptions about my character than they would other people I went to school with. And what is really important that I think the black community especially does is they need to stop treating their skin color like an idol. Your skin color is not a god. And there's more to life than your racial identity. Your racial identity really only accounts for a handful of things. It's your complexion, your hair texture, and maybe the socioeconomic position that you've been born in. But it's so people will take someone like you, where you're saying, here's all the problems. The problems are X, 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 and X. Something has to happen about this because somebody wants you to stay this way. And we both know that you shouldn't stay this way, because if you remain the bottom of the totem pole of society, you have no spending power. You can't accomplish anything. It's just going to be this constant bottom feeder mentality. It's never going to go away. So if you can remove the identity from you and just acknowledge the problems, and I think one of the biggest issues was I was just God, or just growing up. But I remember on Netflix, this was years ago. I think it was 2020. There was a show called Dear White People. I don't know if you heard about it.
No.
And okay, and I was in this whole, like, black people are oppressed, and I'm light skinned anyways, and I was mentally captured by this as a young kid, and I'm watching this show, and something clicked in my brain, because it was a house party in the show, and some black kid gets into an altercation with the white kid. White cop comes in, hey monkey, you're going to jail. And I I was like, hold on a second. My dad is a probation officer. I know all of his coworkers. I'm like, I don't have any issues when I get pulled over. I don't deal with these issues. I'm like, why are they deliberately acting like this is the norm? And then the more and more and more that I saw it, I was like, okay, hold on. Police risk their lives every day they clock in. So there's going to be a heightened level of danger because at any point someone could do something to cause them to lose their life and never see their families again. On top of that, if you see a demographic whose crime rates are several tens of times over other demographics as far as violent crime goes, you have to be smart. You can't be mad at a white police officer for having more of a guard up when he's dealing with a young black man. That's just the reality of the world. Like you can't be mad at an airport that's going to be more stringent on checking a brown guy's backpack. It's just the way things are. So it's the identity. What happens with black people is that they think that challenging the behavior is attacking who they are as a person. It's attacking their entire identity because they base their identity off of their DNA. They base it off of what they look like. And is the longer that you think in that emotionality, you can't evolve that conversation into something that's going to address the problems. So I wish that more people were as abrasive or not as afraid to be as abrasive, because if people were like, this is literally a problem, let's just talk about it on even a lower scale of viral videos, I think the problem would kind of work itself out. But there's so much pushback and there's so much brainwashing of just viewing the another person as your enemy instead of your neighbor. And there's been such an effort by the media to villainize white people as just this entity of hatred that, you know, only acts in a way to benefit itself, unless you're bending over backwards to give all these brown people your stuff. And it's just because I don't want your stuff. I want my own shit. I want to learn how to build my own. Being given something is never going to be as valuable as earning it. And I think that is the root of it, is removing the emotionality, because you're right. We can have so many, human beings have so many more similarities than they realize. It's like there's only this crazy fixation on the differences, and I hate you because MSNBC told you to, and my favorite, you know, grifter on Instagram said that these people are bad. It's not positive. It's not substantive. And the longer that these people continue to look at themselves as somebody that needs help, the longer it's going to take them to start helping themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly fucking right. The longer they believe that, the longer it's going to take. But and based on what that statement alone is, it's mind-boggling, because there's such a deep-rooted pride in the black community, in and of itself, just for the black community, that you would think that, I mean, when my pride flares up, the last fucking thing I want is anything from anybody. I want to go out and blaze my own path. I want to burn fucking places down until I'm done doing my shit, building my shit my way. But then it's like these people get really fucking mad, and then they just want to sit back and be served. Like, that's not actually pride. That's entitlement. You guys are confusing the two. And that's a lot of where your disconnect with the rest of society is. Like, we look across the global landscape, and it seems as though black people are, you know, generally speaking, of course, a problem fucking everywhere. China's getting ready to kick them all out. Like, they're a problem. Really? They're banning the Muslim religion, and they're really looking to start booting black people out of China. I've read that several times from several different places now. So that could get really interesting. But here's the thing, like, I had Hurting Murphy on, who's an awesome dude. You've probably seen him online. He's with his brother a lot. They do kind of like a white pride rap and music and kind of shit like that. But I had Hurting Murphy on, and he had mentioned, he's like, well, it's a top down problem. And where I think the disconnect for a lot of people, especially the black community, is I would think that if you ask any black person, if you, to sum it up, they would believe it's a top-down problem too. The problems come from the top and they get shuffled down to the rest of us. Well, that means that there has to be a bottom-up approach to the solution. So how do we solve, if we know that the certain elite group of people that want to keep their control and keep all the money, if we know they're using you in the way they have been using you for decades and decades and decades, wouldn't the most logical answer be to alter your mindset and your perspectives in a manner that would disallow them to use you any longer? Meaning if I'm the elite, right, and you're the black community, and I'm like, all right, well, I want to take that place over, so let's get TJXShippuden in there and fuck it all up, and then 10 years from now, we'll come back and take it back, and we'll make more money on it. That would not be a possibility if the black community, being TJXShippuden, didn't allow that. If they were like, nah, we're not going to go in there, we're not going to fuck it up. We're going to go in there and going to make it better. We're going to go in there and we're going to mow our lawns. We're going to keep our cars clean. We're going to fucking get jobs at all the local stores that we're not going to steal from so that the businesses stay there. We're just not going to do it. We're not going to be your fucking pawns anymore. And the way we're going to do that is to pick up our game. It seems simple, but when you bring up that notion, it's always 100% of the time met with some sort of pushback, and it's just seems to be a transferable lesson all the way across humanity. Like, if you don't want to be used, make yourself unusable. You know what I mean?
Or at the very least, make yourself useful, because sitting on your ass all day, smoking weed in government assistance is what else are they going to do? Of course, they're going to start killing each other because they don't have to work for shit. They get some EBT card and they go to Walmart and get a bunch of stuff that's going to poison their DNA in the first place. They don't even take. It's like, at the very least, buy real food. You're getting free money to buy food. You buy some steak. Why are you getting soda and Little Caesars? It's ridiculous. But I think that most of humanity is always going to choose the path of least resistance.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And it's like, you guys think that the government has your best intentions. When the government is the nipple that you're sucking off of to survive, what happens when they cut that shit off? You're screwed. Because instead of trying to build something on your own that nobody can take away from you, you just sat on your ass and accepted a check. And that is the blood-brain barrier that we have to infiltrate and just stop, because the black community has no money. How do Indians from India, like 10 years ago, come over here and all of a sudden it's like a family of 6 that has 3 sources of income and they're doing fine? Why is that? It's because they came here and they worked for things. And your family's been here for 80 years and you have done nothing. You're in the same spot. You have no generational wealth. It's just generations of babies raising babies without fathers. Yeah. So course correct. And the biggest parasite is the black people that made it. How in God's name are you a black millionaire who has been on stages and is in this club with all this influence, and you know all these people, and you're going to high schools, and instead of instilling in these young black teenagers, I earned it, you can earn it too, You look at them and you lie to them and tell them, be afraid of white people, police are your enemy, and the country hates you. Like,
Wow.
you
Yes.
disgusting and like these are the people that these young black kids are looking up to. These rappers and these athletes and the NFL players and the Patrick Mahomes and the Jalen Hurts and the people like that, the Cam Newtons and I forgot the guy for Baltimore. But it's like these athletes and these celebrities and these influencers, they have so much power. If they would speak life into the black community, if they would tell them, you can do this, you can build a life for yourself. You don't have to exist in this, fight or flight mode of being afraid of your own people. Course correct. You can make money. Not everything is against you. There's nothing holding you back. And it's so important to have a father and mother, because I'm so blessed because my parents are still together. And in high school, when I got discouraged and when things weren't going my way, when just football wasn't working out and I was getting injured, having the balance of the nature and the nurture of, okay, your mom's gonna hold your ass and make you feel good about yourself, and then your dad is gonna come in and say, okay, you know what, you've sulked enough.
Yeah.
Start training, go work, go run suicides, go hit the gym, go take this shit seriously, because nobody's gonna do it for you. And when that is deliberately removed and it's generations of the same thing and never having the life instilled in them, and then the only people that they can really look up to, because they were raised by their grandma that doesn't know anything and raised by their mom that doesn't know anything, these artists and these athletes then get on a stage and tell them, oh yeah, by the way, you're also oppressed on top of that, and the police hate you, and you can't amount to anything because of your skin color. It's just going to implode on itself.
Oh yeah.
It just is. And it has.
That reminds me of Obama. So Obama did more for killing race relations in this country and this world than I think anybody, including fucking old AH, he did so much to destroy race relations. Because like I said, I was a skinhead. So, back in the night, I grew up filled with hate. My parents were anything but that. My parents ran businesses. My dad was an Army combat vet. And his best friends all the way growing up were always Southern black dudes. Like all the way from the South, Arkansas and fucking Alabama, like that's who he hung out with. And they were great dudes. I handled their shit. They bring their kids over, blah, blah, blah. But Obama came along and he went on, him and Big Mike, his wife, went and did this fucking college tour and talking all about how, and it was only blacks. You could only be there if you were black. And then they kind of opened it up to browns a little bit too, but no whites. And they spent these hours that they had with these young, malleable minds just telling them that the world hates you. The world is against you. The country's against you. Everything is against you. And I remember seeing that shit taking place. Like there would be people like started recording secretly on their phone to see what these people were saying, these speakers that they would have in. And one person, one black woman, one young black chick, she comes out. And, the cameras are always right there waiting for it because they want to get that clip for the news. And she did not give them what they wanted. They're like, how do you feel now that you have this new understanding of, the oppressive world that you actually live in? And she looked at her and she goes, a black man who was the president of the United States was telling me that black people are oppressed and can't go anywhere. How does that make any sense? And I was up out of my fucking chair. I was like, this chick gets it. She understands. Yep. She just got told by the black president of the United States, the most powerful man on fucking earth, that black people can't make it. How in the fuck are you buying this? I'm like, dude, I hope she goes on and she fucking continues to think about this, dive down these rabbit holes and help her community, because that's really what we all are, what we're all after. If you're in for America fucking all the way, you have to live in the practical manner, practical mindset of like, well, we can't. outside of just wiping everybody out, just genociding everybody, we're going to have to figure out how to get along, how to work together and find our common enemies and attack them instead of attack each other. And it takes people like you, takes people like me, because, like, obviously I've got a hugely white following, and of that, and there's a certain demographic within that white following that anytime I say anything positive about the black community, about the Asian community, about the Mexican community, anything, they're up my ass. They're just all the way up my ass. You're a fucking turncoat, a fucking pile of shit. So
turncoat is crazy.
Yeah. So that's what black people don't understand is white guys get it too. When we start fighting for your side, we get it too, especially when you come from a history like mine. But the truly America devoted ones understand that if we got this division out of here, by any means necessary, whether it's your content, my style of content, or anybody else's style of content, if we got the division on the bottom level out, the top level doesn't stand a fucking chance.
No, they don't.
And that's why they have us like this. So
there's so much more of us.
It is, it's the ants and the fucking crickets or grasshoppers or whatever the fuck from that movie. It's like, yeah, but if they all band together, they take us out fast. Look at what just happened in Madagascar? Fucking dude.
Nepal?
No, I think it was Madagascar. It was okay. They took the capital. Kids, fucking teenagers, early 20s, took the fucking capital. They own the fucking country now. They own the whole fucking, and it happened in Nepal too. It's happening in France. It's about to anyway. Like young people,
the French go hard.
Yeah, the French do. Except in war, then they can go. Then they're just busy sucking each other's dicks while America does all the work. But
when it comes to crashing out against each other, they go hard.
Yeah, and it's good. And the French do have a fierceness in them that it just takes a lot to fire up. And I think that's a lot of the white community in America. We still have our ancestral fierceness. It's been subsided for so long that most of us don't know it's there. And then once it starts bubbling up, we start getting a little bit of rowdy and a little bit of bravado, and we start pushing a little bit thing. But that's also the key for every single culture of people is once that culture, we'll call it, wakes up inside of you, that need to defend yours, make sure you're assessing the situation properly, and you're not just like hard in the paint all of a sudden, like fucking hard R this, fuck these coolies. You're moving towards a goal, and that goal has to be progress. It has to be progressive, and not progressive in the liberal sense, but progressive in the sense that we can now provide communities, safe ones for our children. I'm reminded every time I say anything like about safe communities. How many times do you turn on the TV and you see all these black moms and black grandmas just absolutely crying because they're terrified that their kid's going to end up dead, because of gang life or anything like this. But you don't do anything else but whine and cry. You don't educate your children. You don't send them to, a different place, a tutor or anything. There's so many black only fucking programs out there that are government subsidized that you could be utilizing to fix the problem. You're just not. So it takes other people, it takes other cultures, it takes a village to fix the problem. So, there's problems in the white community. I mean, like I always say, go for a walk and trip on a rock and see if you don't land on a white guy trying to fuck a little kid. I mean,
there's a lot of white pedophiles.
There's a lot of white pedophiles. Like, I know we like to talk shit about the fucking Muslims and all that shit, which is 100% a problem, but it alleviates the responsibility and the attention from the white community that we need to address. But that being said, we do address it. When you see the videos of people, fucking white guys going to meet a kid at the store or the mall or whatever, what do you see? You see the confrontation happening between who? That white guy and other white guys. Mm-hmm. It's very rarely ever a black man, a Mexican man, an Asian man doing any of this confronting. The white guys we're taking care of our own on that end too, So what we need to see is more people like you, more people of ethnic culture, more people like a guy named Junior that's in my emails right now that I've been going back and forth with, people like Westcott Laurent. We need people like all these people that are in the community to just do what I'm doing. Just say, you know what? I don't give a fuck. If you don't like me, if you're going to fucking all of a sudden make me your enemy when I was your friend, just because I'm talking the truth about what will fix this whole fucking thing, then you can go fuck yourself. You obviously are not into the same goals that I am. And that's the progression of America and keeping America the way it is so that it can be a fucking safe environment for our children, our children's children, our children's children's children, and so on and so forth. You're just not into it. You're under what you were saying earlier. You're under your own black identity. And I myself know all about that. We had a saying back in the day in the skinheads that my race is my religion and my skin is my uniform. Anything that fucks with either one of those two has to die. That's the way it goes. And we need to come out of that mentality. I get it. There are massive glaring cultural differences. There are a lot of things that white people are best at. There are some things that black people are best at. There's some things that Mexican people are best at. Everybody brings something to the table. And I understand that, we're going to get the crowd that says, fucking diversity is not a strength. It's destroyed everything it's ever touched, which you are right. But I think diversity has truly destroyed anything it's ever destroyed because the people that were diverse were too fucking stupid to understand why it was being introduced. We were too stupid to understand that we needed to take this bottom-up approach, right? We get so wronged by the people up top that we get so angry and we don't want to work anything out with the people on the bottom because we've been fucked. When reality says, we've got to be the bigger person. We've got to take that higher road. If you want to try to use us to keep your shit straight and keep all of us fucked, well, fuck you. We're all going to get along. We're all going to do whatever the fuck it takes to fix this shit down here so you can no longer use it against us. And then we're going to grow the machine and then we're going to park it on your front fucking lawn.
Hell yeah.
Hell
yeah. And I think that one of the biggest issues that America faces is the fixation on diversity without unity. Because I really don't have a racial identity. I don't lead with anything. I'm like 9 different ethnicities. So that's never been a priority for me. I'm an American citizen. I don't want to live in any other country because this one is better. And that's just the way that it is. So we can have diversity, but your main identity has to be rooted in the fact that you are an American citizen. And the left has been so strategic in making people hate their country or feel justified in hating their country. And it was easy for me to be adversarial to America when Biden was in office, but not because I hated America. It's because I felt like the person that was in the administration in charge of America was trying to screw me over and work in the complete opposite of my best interest. That's what it was. But that doesn't mean, oh, I don't like the president, so America should just burn. Right. That's such low IQ, low level thinking. And people, they use their hatred for Trump as justifications of just heinous acts of violence or just deliberately being an ignorant piece of trash. When we have that identity as American citizens, we know that at the end of the day, my fellow man is going to do right by me and hold the door open for my family. And it's like that, the commonality of looking at somebody as an American. No. Now people are looking at other people as, oh, that's a freaking Muslim. I wonder what he's up to. It's like it's gone into this prejudice by design. And acknowledge that. And prejudice is important. And you shouldn't just automatically trust people when you meet them. But at the same time, you shouldn't be adversarial towards everybody and have this clique in group, because we all have to coexist together. That's just the reality of the situation. Everybody has to live together in the same country. We go to the same grocery stores. We live in the same neighborhoods. We've gotten too far for that to no longer be the case. So the hatred of America is like one of the biggest cancers, because it makes somebody like, a guy emailing you, just calling you out of your name. And then, but it takes somebody just exemplifying taking the high road and being like, okay, well, I'm expecting you to just talk to me like a dog. Okay, you done? All right, let's actually get into the meat and potatoes of what we can both grow from this conversation. So I really do I really like what you say and the way that you say it, because so many white people want to say what you say, but they're pussies. It's like they're walking on eggshells and acting like you can be the nicest guy in the world. And if you say something that somebody politically disagrees with because the temperature has gone up so high, they're going to hate you regardless. So just say it straight up.
Right.
It's man, it's unbelievable. So I think the race relations that we deal with are so manufactured. It's just that it's the really that common enemy of there's a bunch of people that want to consolidate wealth and power to keep you away from it, and they're living life in the Hamptons, and we're all fighting over scraps down here, just chucking slurs at each other.
Yeah.
Look at the guy in the ivory tower telling you that everything is fine when you can clearly see with your eyes that it's not. It's not. You're not my enemy. Like it's a small group of people that are screwing everybody over, and people just want to continue fixating on that. Oh my gosh, it's racism and Jim Crow laws. No, shut your dumb ass up. We're over that. We're past that conversation. It's world domination at a mass scale and just psyop control. And it's like all these countries are in cahoots. And if you don't acknowledge what the hell is happening in France, if you don't acknowledge what's happening in the UK, if you don't acknowledge what's happening in countries like Indonesia banning 86 million bank accounts, because like it's deeper than this low level racial nonsense. So stop, have that identity rooted. I think the identity maybe not even so much American, if that's too much of a hurdle for people. How about the haves and the have-nots? Because that gap is widening at such a crazy degree. The most wealth ever accumulated within a 5-year period was from COVID to now.
Yeah.
And 1% of the population accumulated all that wealth, and everybody else is paying more money for the same things while making less.
Mm-hmm.
And you wanna be mad at the white guy telling you that killing your own brothers and sisters in your community via gang violence because you don't know anything else is a problem. That guy is the enemy, and not the dude that's actually not only poisoning your food supply, but making sure that you don't have health care, then poisoning the health care whenever you are able to get it with freaking all the vaccines and giving young kids autism and turning the frogs gay. It's ridiculous.
The atrazine.
It's ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah, it's you know what, and it goes back to Obama again, because and I've said it before, pre-Obama, we'll go back to the Clinton era. Now I know Clinton was a pile of shit, but when Clinton was president, I was younger and I didn't really remember the world being super fucked. In fact, I remember actually a lot of people liked him. People called him the world's president, like they kind of do Trump now, but to a grander scale. He would talk to both sides of the aisle. Shit got figured out. Now I understand, looking back, he was responsible for lighting the 35-year fuse on manufacturing, this and that and the other thing, but things were okay. And then once we got through the couple of nightmares after him, then we got Obama. But pre-Obama, everything was about being American. Everything was about being an American. We Americans, we believe this. But when Obama got into office, it became about being a Black American. It became a white American. It became a Mexican American. There had to be these hyphens all the time. All of a sudden, everybody had their racial title hyphenated. It's no longer American. Now we're segregated by race, and terminology. So then then we're deepening the divide because we're extending the amount of what's the word I'm looking for? That racial identity. We're deepening people's racial identity, but we're rooting that racial identity in propaganda and bullshit. How many people across the world, when it comes to slavery, because that's what we always hear. How many people across the world helped the black people not be slaves, how much more than white people? Like 600,000 white people died to stop black people from being slaves.
Exactly.
Nobody else died. Like nobody else. Not even black people fucking died to stop themselves from being slaves. We did that shit. And we're still fucking being told that we're fucking piece of shit slave traders. Like, no, my ancestors are the ones that died for you, not the ones that owned you. Let's have a conversation. But we can't do that because every single, like you were talking about earlier, every single time you bring up a topic of conversation like that, these celebrities and these movie stars and these presidents are in the back of their heads just saying, you're oppressed. Don't listen. You're oppressed. Black people are oppressed. Oh my God, you got to stop. Mexicans are oppressed and Asians are oppressed. Everybody's oppressed in America except the evil white man.
Is the oppression in the room with us? Where's the oppression at?
Where did the oppression touch you?
Oh my gosh. Obama was really one of the biggest sacks of human shit that has ever been given power in this nation, in this beautiful nation.
And he's still at it. He's still at his fucking rhetoric and his propaganda, him and Big Mike.
I'll just talking about men need more gay role models. No, men need men to teach them how to go about life, how to deal with adversity, how to deal with breakups, how to control their anger. You know what toxic masculinity is? Toxic masculinity is not having any in the first place. It's acting on your impulses. It's not controlling yourself. It's, it's leading with emotions instead of being like, is this going to be a good decision? Should I vet this first? I don't know. No, that's what masculinity is. Masculinity is calculated. It is calm. It's purposeful. It's not this gay little, oh my gosh, he said something to me, so I have to fight him now. How soft is that? That's just going to give you so many problems in this life. And I remember, man, the world, there really was a sense of normalcy when I was like 10 years old. It didn't feel like there was some impending doom. And like even in the early 2000s when all the Rush Hour movies were coming out and Jackie Chan said the N-word and like nobody got offended at stuff. It was funny. And now instead of what's really disgusting about the whole identity thing that you just touched on is they never put American black or American Asian. It's the opposite. So it's you're now leading with this sense of pride in this small demographic that you're a part of because other people look like you instead of your national demographic, which is if Russia invades, right? If Russia dropped 400,000 soldiers, just dumped them in like some random field in Utah, people would unite pretty quick. Because if Russians started to start wiping out Americans, there would be some unity. And it's like, we shouldn't have to go through some crazy World War III tragedy for people to not look at their fellow man as an enemy. And Obama really did facilitate that. He's the person that started just race in freaking everything. I remember Michelle Obama started saying that she had to clean up the school lunches because black kids didn't have access to good food. Don't kids in school eat the same shit? I'm confused here. Why are you making a distinction that there wasn't you're creating a divide in the name of unity on purpose. And it's like, we can see you. We can see what you're doing. And like the other people that can't, it's this crazy indoctrination that I'll never be able to comprehend because they want you to suffer. These people want to consolidate power while you're sitting there fighting over scraps, telling the white guy he's a racist because his ancestors freed yours. It's disgusting. And don't even get me started on the white liberals that want to look at minorities like puppies. I'm sure you've probably seen the videos of asking the white girls. So
they want to look at them like puppies.
So do you believe that such and such is oppressed? Black people, they don't really know like where the DMV is or how to use a computer. Like that's crazy.
Right.
What are you do we grow up in a different reality? Why are you looking down on me because I don't have the same skin color as you? You're assuming that I'm oppressed. I'm not oppressed for shit. I can accomplish anything. I want to build a career out of getting in front of my computer and talking. And I'm going to achieve it. I don't need your approval. I don't need you to tell me, oh, okay, you don't feel depressed anymore. Okay, here's a cosign. Go chase your dreams now. That's ridiculous. And black people and different minorities, they let liberals tell them that they can't do it before they even try. Did you test the theory first, or did you just feel sorry for yourself by default?
That's
Try
it. That's
first.
fucking it. They got them convinced that they can't do it before they even try. And that's like, what's real racism? Okay, like, for all you guys, think about this. What's really racist? If I come on the internet and I say, listen here, black community, your fucking areas are a shithole. You need to clean this shit up, all right? Is that racist? Is that more racist than if I was to put on a suit and tie and become elected, but under the promise of giving your entire community this wonderful existence and then not delivering, and then coming back 2 or 4 years later from now, saying the same shit to get reelected and then not delivering? What's more racist? I mean, really, the elected officials that keep promising you shit so that you elect them and then not delivering because they don't need to, or me just saying, hey guys, if you get your head out of your ass, we can make this motherfucker amazing.
We would live in paradise. If we could reclaim unity and get all the gay identity nonsense out of the society, we would literally live in paradise if we could identify who our enemies are. And the left has been promising minorities 40 acres and a mule for 45 years. Where is it? Where is your wealth? Where is your financial independence? Where are these empty promises? And they just eat the same shit up and they don't even have to try anymore. They don't even have to try. And now people are starting to wake up, especially in Chicago. Oh my gosh, your guys' mayor, that guy is a professional retard.
Yeah, fucking professional.
He might be not even one of. I think he actually is the worst politician I have ever seen. I think Hillary Clinton would have Chicago in a better state than that dumbass.
Oh yeah.
Which is crazy to say because she's literally a spirit cooking, child sacrificing Satanist.
Oh yeah, she's definitely a bunny cooker from that one movie where I think it was Fatal Attraction, where the guy walks in and his rabbit was boiling because some woman was stalking him. Yeah, we just call them bunny cookers because they're fucking crazy. And but here's the problem with Brandon Johnson, and it really does transcend into his populace that they just won't open their eyes. They are now, but for the longest time, they weren't opening their eyes. Brandon Johnson makes everything very well known that he is only out to benefit the black community. Then he takes all the money and gives it to the immigrant community and lets the black community go further into squalor. Now we're looking at fucking 1,500 schools closing and, $7.8 billion in debt. So that's all got to come out of the black community now, who he's supposedly the only for, and it's getting wild around Chicago because the black community's waking up to his bullshit. But even in that fight, what's really odd is seeing the interviews, like those street interviews where you could see this black dude or this group of black people, they want to let loose and they do a little bit, but they have something in the back of their head saying, we can't go full on fuck this guy because of his skin color. You know what I mean? If you can't get past that, you're never going to fix anything.
Oh my gosh.
The dude that used all of your tax money and gave it to people that are meant to disenfranchise you, you can't just say F that guy?
They can't do it.
How mentally captured are people become? What the hell? I don't even live in Chicago and I'm mad for them. I don't know how many videos I'm saying F that guy. How does somebody like that get put into power in the first place? It's like, I don't know what he was saying on his campaign trail.
You had it right.
Probably nothing.
You had it right. Put into power, not elected into power. Put. into power. Selected, not election. We don't have elections anymore. We have selections across federal, state, local. It's always rigged. It's 100% of the time always fucking rigged, and it all depends on which way the pendulum's swinging and who's willing to play the game. Like the next presidential election, I don't know if how you feel about it, but that next presidential election is fucking terrifying for me, because it looks like we're going to be looking at Gavin Newsom or fucking Kamala and AOC. We've got zero fucking credible candidates on that side. But it seems like that side's the side that's going to be selected. That side's the side that's going to buy their way in one way or another. They're going to make it happen, because I feel like we're still truly under this Project 2030 thing. We look across the globe and everything that's happening in every fucking country points at this whole world is going towards that Project 2030 thing, where you'll own nothing and be happy while everybody else has the fucking money. And yeah, that's fucking scary to me, because now, I mean, dude, look at the last couple elections we've had. They're not even hiding it anymore. Oh, you had 220 million fucking ballots, 219 million of which were for Biden to show up at 2:00 in the morning when the facility was supposed to be closed. That's interesting. Oh, we've got paper up so nobody can see what's happening here. Now we're not letting the vote counters in. We're not letting the security in. They're not even trying to hide the shit anymore. So the next election we've got is terrifying for me.
I think that the culture is shifting in a way that is advantageous to people that don't hate America.
Yeah.
Personally, I think Christian music streaming is up like 70%. Bible sales are up 65% since like November of last year. And after Charlie's just brutal assassination in front of the entire world, I think that really radicalized and woke up so many people that weren't active on social media, that, you know, would put on a conservative program in the background, and, you know, they cared about this stuff. But now it's like, oh my gosh, we don't have a choice anymore. The only thing that makes me nervous is just, I've heard so much about JD Vance's relationship with Peter Thiel, the gay Antichrist lover,
yeah, he gets
guy.
Fucking bent over by him all the time, probably.
Man, I like JD. From what I know about him, I think it is, if everything is fair and he decides to run, I think in a normal America that's not manipulated and controlled, I think it's a runaway victory for JD. But like the Democrats are losing hundreds of thousands of voters a week. Like, we're getting so many more registered Republicans. So is that good, or does it matter? Have the globalists encroached on domestic policy of different countries to such a degree that it just, whoever's elected doesn't even matter anymore? I don't know, but I feel like there's truth to that. But at the same time, if I feel like I would already have a social credit score if Kamala was the president.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it does still matter, and I do think that JD's probably going to be the favorite for the 2028 election, unless I mean, there's a couple guys in Trump's cabinet that have been talking about a third term since he got in. So I don't know even how they would try to figure that out, or if they're really serious about that.
I think the way I took it from I forgot his name. He knows the shit, but he was talking about Trump could get a third term if he got elected under the Democrat Party. If he got elected under the Democrats, he could get a third term.
That would be crazy.
There's a couple of little hops and skips that he's going to have to do over that, through some hoops, but he could do it. And it would be legal. When it comes to Vance, here's my thing. When Vance first came out, I was actually kind of excited when he got named as the VP, because he was a never Trumper. Like, okay, so we're bringing the balancing factor here. We're going to bring fuck you, I hate you to the fuck you, I hate you table on the other side, so that we can maybe land the American people somewhere in the middle. But as time goes on, I find out more and more about Vance, and I'm going to allege this. I'm going to say it's alleged, but like things like, the Peter Thiel thing, like being in bed with so many people like him. And the fact that he's changed his name 3 times throughout the course of his life. Why'd you change your fucking name so many fucking times?
Did he really?
Yeah, that's what I've read that in several different places. He changed his name 3 different times throughout his life, and then he's got a lot of pictures out there. Like it would seem as though because his what is his name? What's his wife's name? Ursha or something like that.
Ursha Vance, I think.
Yeah. Well, he seems to only promote her religion and her culture, but doesn't really promote it in his background in his kids. So that makes me nervous too, is because, the Middle East is a fucking problem for me, and Muslims are a problem for me. And I'm not saying she's Muslim, I understand, but that whole thing is just a problem for Western civilization because we don't understand, and we're not compatible with certain beliefs that the other religions hold. So there are things about Vance that make me nervous. However, I
think she's Christian, but his son's name is Vivek.
Yeah. So, that would play to the, always promoting that culture instead of our own culture, whether that's white or American, whatever you want to call it. But if it came down to a point where I think you're right, I think it could be a runaway victory for him. But I look at him a little bit harder. But he is a spokesman. He's a talker. He's a great orator, and he seems like he's a coward until he's put on the spot, and then you find out he's not. So it could be healthy, but that'll be left to figure out.
The one thing that I like about him a lot over Trump is that you ask Trump a direct question, and he doesn't always give you a direct answer.
Right.
He goes off on tangents, and you'll have like 3 or 4 different branching points from the original question he was asked. Every time I've seen JD get asked a direct question, he answers the question directly and succinctly. And I like that because it doesn't like everybody loved Trump because it was like, oh my gosh, this guy isn't a politician. He's just keeping it real. And Vance very much so is a politician, but he keeps things brief and direct.
Yeah.
And he talks a lot of shit on Twitter. I don't know if you see him.
Oh, I don't. I try to stay off of fucking Twitter. It doesn't give me any traction, so there's not a whole lot of reason to be there. I kind of focus on the platforms that do. So, but yeah, and plus I've been there. And like, dude, if you want a toxic cesspool of conflict, that's X, that's Twitter, and it always has been, from my understanding. So,
you're not going to have any sort of substantive, meaningful conversations on there.
Yeah,
no, it's impossible. Unless you just you meet some unicorn on there just really trying to dialogue with you, but it's not going to happen.
It's really not.
Yeah, it's a hot mess.
All right, guy, we're at an hour and a half. Let's do this again. We're gonna have to do this again. This is an awesome conversation. So, I like to have all my guests. Leave you guys open to come back for a future show, especially when we have such a good conversation as we did today.
I'd love to.
That being said, guys, if you want to help me out, get these truths out, get this word out, you can follow me on Instagram at Savagely Loud. That is where I'm most active. On that page, you'll find 2 links. One of those links is to the Savagely Loud podcast page. Please follow me there because it will inevitably be my backup. And on the other link is all my social media, the YouTube, the everything. So go ahead, anywhere you want to watch or listen, you can find it there. Outside of that, Facebook, X, and Rumble at Savagely Loud, YouTube at Savagely Loud Podcast, and you can email me in at savagelyloud@gmail.com. With all your support, you talk a little shit, whatever you want to do. You guys, I get dozens of you guys emailing me every single day. It's awesome. Don't expect an answer right away. Every now and then I get one of you guys that I emailed you 6 minutes ago and you didn't email me back in the fucking DMs. Relax. I'll get there. There's plenty of them that I have to get through, and I want to get through everybody. Outside of that, last but not least, don't forget to like, comment, and share the material. Hit the bell, the notifications, follow, subscribe, and rate the shows. For the love of all that is awesome, please rate the fucking shows, guys. Spotify and iTunes. Write a good review. It helps me get into the algorithm. And if you want this shit out there as much as you tell me you do, you're going to have to help me and rate this show. TJXShippuden. TJ Murphy, where can they find you? All your places. Let them know.
I am on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch, and Kick. I'm actually going to be live in about an hour playing Mafia: The Old Country and going to talk about some crazy shit that's going on with Brandon Tatum and everybody thinking that apparently he's bought and sold by Israel. So I was going to get my thoughts on that. Yeah, I'm just going to be streaming, making rants every single day. Just staying consistent, trying to take this as far as I can.
Absolutely follow this man. He's a young man with a good fucking head on his shoulders, and he's going to bring us. He's going to bring us in the most positive direction possible, and he's going to do it as abrasively as possible to get it done as fast as possible. So, I love that shit. Now,
Appreciate it.
you know how the show goes, guys. Every single episode, we dive down into the dirtiest, nastiest, shittiest muck of society, and we don't want to walk away with like that, with that mindset. So we're going to pick ourselves back up with a little segment I like to call Hopelessly Human, and it starts a little bit like...
People can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
All right, for our Hopelessly Human today, it's a very, very quick one, and it's entitled Birthday Party Rescue. When no one showed up to 8-year-old Christian's birthday party at a local pizza restaurant, the staff noticed his growing disappointment as the minutes ticked by. The restaurant employees quickly mobilized, gathering co-workers on break and even calling in off-duty staff to create an impromptu celebration with games and gifts purchased from a nearby store. The spontaneous party guests sang, played, and celebrated until Christian declared that it was the best birthday ever, never knowing that they weren't actually invited guests. That is being human. That is seeing a child being devastated and doing whatever the fuck you can do to make that day better. With that, that's human, Hopelessly Human, and that's the show.